Okay, guys and girls, the objective is to solve for x. On your desk, you should have your notebook, calculator, writing utensil, and yellow paper. We are going to continue practicing GCF and zero product property problems as we've been doing. I am also going to mix up some of the older problems that we did with solve for x because you guys can use the practice. On the keystone, remember we keep telling you that a big part of the keystone is solving for x. Equations, inequalities, the GCF stuff that we've been doing, zero product property. So that's what we're going to do today. My plan is to do some problems with you, and then I'll give you guys some at the end of class to do on your own. Okay? In your math notebook, I want you to put today's date, which is 11/13/14. Mr. Warnock's class, it's probably 11/14/14, assuming you guys are watching this tomorrow. So my class, 11/13/14. The title for it is Solve for X, so go ahead and title it Solve for X. So I'm thinking I'm going to do 6 problems with you. I'll have you start some of them without me. Some of them I'll do with you, depending on what the problem is. Okay, the first problem I want you to write down, but do not solve it yet, is negative 9x squared minus 60x equals 0. Okay, so looking at the yellow paper, how many solutions will a problem like this have? How many solutions will a problem like this have? Jacob. Good. How do you know that? Good. This will have 2 solutions because the highest exponent is 2. Where do we look on the yellow paper to know the steps of this problem? Where do we look on the yellow paper? Braden. Good. Where it says here how many solutions, you're looking at the 2. Underneath it, it says, is the equation equal to 0? So is that equal to 0? Yep. Next step says, is there a GCF? Is there a greatest common factor? Robert? Yes, there is a greatest common factor. Okay, can someone raise their hand when you're ready and tell us what is the greatest common factor for that problem? Dan, what do you think? -3 what? Good. The greatest common factor is -3x. Why is the greatest common factor negative? Why? Jacob. Good. The first term is negative, therefore the greatest common factor is negative. Make your parentheses, keep it equal to 0. I noticed yesterday some mistakes with this part. You guys were trying to find the numbers that were left inside parentheses. Some of you were dividing wrong and messing up signs. So what is the number, or what is the term, I should say, that goes here? Dan? Good. Positive 3x. -9 divided by -3 is positive 3. X squared divided by x is x. Okay, what term goes here? Emily? Positive or negative? Positive 20, because -60 divided by -3 is positive 20. Does anyone have questions on what is inside the parentheses and how we got that? Okay, so our next step is what? What's our next step? Dan? Split them up. We have to solve. -3x equals 0 is one of them. 3x plus 20 equals 0 is another one. All right, so to solve this one on the left, what do? Matt? Divide both sides by -3. 0 divided by -3 is 0. So you get x equals 0. How do we solve the equation on the right? What's the first thing we do, Emily? -20 on both sides. You get 3x equals -20. Megan, how do we get rid of the 3? Good. Divide both sides by 3. Take your calculator, type in -20 divided by 3. Hit math, enter, enter. Can that be reduced any further? Dylan? No, so what's the answer? Good. -20 over 3. There's our 2 answers, 0 and -20 over 3. Questions on 1? Okay, number 2. 5 less than or equal to negative 2, parentheses, 10x minus 1, end parenthesis, plus 4. I'm doing this one with you. How many solutions is this going to have? Infinitely many. How do you guys know there's going to be infinitely many? Matt, how do you know? Good. It's an inequality. On the yellow paper, it tells you to look. Let me point to this for you guys. Right here where it says infinitely many, underneath it, you'll see the inequality symbols. Okay? Underneath the inequality symbols are all the steps you're following. The last box reminds you of how to graph these. All right, so I know some of you guys looked at that and you're like, whoa, I don't remember that. Okay, you're following your steps on the yellow paper. It's an inequality. There will be infinitely many solutions. So underneath the infinitely many box on your yellow paper, what's the first step tell us to do on these kind of problems? Dylan? Good, we have to clear parentheses. So to clear parentheses, we are distributing negative 2 inside those parentheses. We are rewriting 5 less than or equal. Negative 2 times 10x is negative 20x. Negative 2 times negative 1 is positive 2. Drop down your plus 4. Okay, what is the next thing that we are able to do on this problem? Lauren? Good, combine like terms. There's not any fractions to clear, so we go right to combine like terms. The combine like terms have to be on the same side. We are rewriting 5 less than or equal to negative 20x plus 6, because 2 plus 4 is 6. Next step on the yellow paper tells us to do what? Braden, move the x's to the left. So Michael, how do we get negative 20x to the left? Add 20x to both sides. These are not like terms on this left side, so you are writing 20x plus 5 less than or equal to 6. Liam, what's the next step? Good, so how do we do that? Good. Very good. So our next step is you're moving numbers to the right, minus 5 on both sides. You get 20x less than or equal to 1. Robert, how do we get rid of the 20? Divide both sides by 20. So x is less than or equal to what? 1 over 20, which you guys are telling me. You cannot reduce that any further. Remember, the math fraction button on your calculator allows you to simplify that if it needs to be. Why did we not flip the inequality sign? Why did we not flip the inequality sign? Tia? Good, we did not divide by a negative. We divided both sides by a positive. So there's your simplified answer for that one. We need a graph. So make a number line. We're going to put 3 numbers on it. Let's go with 0. Put 1 over 20 next, and then put 1 to the right. Now, you don't have to do that. You could just put 0, 1, and 2. We know 1 over 20 is a pretty small decimal, so it's pretty close to 0. Okay, so as long as you guys know what numbers it's between, that's fine. Mason, what kind of circle goes above 1 over 20? Filled in circle above 1 over 20. Matt, does the arrow go left or right? Good, left. Good, the arrow goes to the, oh yeah, sorry, my fault. Arrow goes to the left because it's less than or equal to. My fault, I always forget that. Questions on that one? Okay, next problem. Number 3, ignore this. Okay, number 3, 10 plus 2, parenthesis, 2x plus 1, end parenthesis, equals 7x minus 3. Okay, you guys are on your own on this one. Look at your yellow paper. Determine, don't tell me right now, determine how many solutions this has. I then want you to follow the steps that you see on the yellow paper. When you get an answer, please circle or put a box around it, and then just put your pencil down, please. value problem. Okay, about another 30 seconds or so. Follow these steps. Get your yellow paper out. Come on. Okay, I'm seeing lots of good answers here. All right, what is the first thing we have to do on this? First step, Tia, distribute. So this 2 gets distributed, okay, to what's inside parentheses. You're dropping the 10 down, so we get 4x plus 2 equals 7x minus 3. All right, the next step, Candace, is what? Before that. That's not wrong, but what do we always do before that? Yeah, combine like terms is the next step. The 10 and the 2 are like terms. 10 plus 2 is 12. Rewrite everything else. Okay, after you combine like terms, Alyssa, what's the next step? Move the x's to the left. So minus 7x on both sides. Rewrite your 12. 4x minus 7x is minus 3x, which is all equal to negative 3 still. Evan, next step. We just got all the x's on the left. Tia, just tell me. Numbers to the right. Tia, how do we get 12 to the right? Minus 12 on both sides. Numbers to the right. Okay, cross that off. Negative 3x equals negative 15 because negative 3 minus 12 is negative 15. Jacob, next step. By what? Good. Divide both sides by negative 3. So Liam, the answer is x equals positive 5. I saw a lot of good answers while I was walking around. Make sure you guys have those yellow papers to follow your steps. Any questions on that one? Okay, what'd you say, Robert? No. Why are you interested in this? No. Oh, okay, number 4. Okay, negative 3. Absolute value. 5x plus 1 and absolute value minus 6 equals negative 9. Okay, so my first question to you guys is, while you're writing this down, how many solutions will the absolute value problems have? Robert, how many? Good. How do you know that? Not sure? Yeah, good. Yeah, exactly. The reason that I always gave you, but Robert, you are correct. Take the highest exponent on the absolute value problems, multiply it by 2. That tells you how many solutions there will be. Okay? Can we split this problem right now, the way it looks? No. What do we have to do before we split it? Emily? Good. We have to get absolute value by itself. So Patty, what do we need to move first to get it by itself? Good. The very first thing we have to do is add 6 to both sides. So plus 6 plus 6. The negative 3 stays in front of the absolute value for now. Okay, rewrite your 5x plus 1, which is equal to negative 3. Okay, we're still not ready to split it. Ethan, what do we have to do now? Patty? Remember, with absolute value, never ever distribute To get rid of that negative 3, you are dividing both sides by the negative 3. These cancel. Okay, don't distribute. So we have absolute value of 5x plus 1 equals negative 3 divided by negative 3 is positive 1. So at this point is where you determine, are we going to have a solution or not? So can we keep solving this? Yes. Why can we keep solving this? Tia, go ahead. Very good. If this number right here was a negative, then you could not keep going, okay, because that's a positive. Our next step is to split it up. What is one of the equations, Frankie, when we split it up? Good. Chris, what's the other one? What did you say? Okay, pay attention, please. Dylan, what's the other one? 5x plus 1 equals negative 1. Remember, it's basically the same equation, but one of them is 1, one of them is negative 1. Okay, Liam, what's the first thing we do to solve this one? I agree. 5x equals 0. 1 minus 1 is 0. So we minus 1 on both sides. Dan, what's the next thing we do? Good. Divide both sides by 5. So test 0 divided by 5 is good. One of the answers is x equals 0. Matt B, what's the first thing we do on this side? Good. Minus 1 on both sides. You get 5x equals negative 2. Emily, how do we get rid of the 5? Good. Divide both sides by 5. So Robert, can negative 2 over 5 be simplified any further? No. So once you checked that on your calculator, you know that cannot be reduced any further. So your second answer is negative 2 over 5. Liam? I know. We'll talk about that pretty soon, actually, in this class. You are correct. That was kind of a random comment, but yes. Questions? Questions on that? Okay, next one. It was funny. I told you to quit making me laugh here. Okay, number 5. Number 5. The problem is negative 2 less than or equal to 1/2 parentheses 8x minus 16 end parenthesis less than or equal to 4. Okay. Quiet, guys. What kind of problem is this? Can someone raise their hand and tell us? What kind of problem is this? I should have more hands. What kind of problem is this? Dan? It's an and problem. How do we know it's an and problem? How do we know? Brayden? Good. It doesn't have the word or. There's also 2 inequality signs, and there's stuff in the middle. So what is the very first thing we do to solve an and problem? Liam, first step. Get rid of the parentheses. Yes, you're exactly right. So we are rewriting our negative 2 less than or equal to? I know, thank you. That's because of the recorder. Okay, what is 1/2 times 8x? 1/2 times 8x. Frankie? Good, 4x. What is 1/2 times negative 16? Dylan? Good, minus 8. Rewrite the less than or equal to 4. Okay, I want you guys to go ahead and finish that. Just go ahead and get x by itself in the middle. I'll give you 2 or 3 minutes. Come on, make sure you're doing stuff with me. Okay, get the x by itself in the middle. So do plus 8 plus 8 plus 8. You'll get it. -2 plus 8 is not that. Type that in your calculator. Yeah, 6. Okay? Okay. Yeah, I know.
No challenge at all.
I think this side's wrong. When you add 8 here, you get 6. And then when you divide by 4, it's 6 over 4, which is 3 over 2. Yeah, I think your other side's fine. 8, 12. Yeah, your other side's fine. Yeah. Yeah, you were. All right, Jacob, what's the first thing you guys should have done? Good. Add 8, middle, left, and right. Remember, the goal is to get x by itself in the middle. This cancels. -2 plus 8 is 6. I saw some mistakes with you guys with the negatives and positives. Please just type it in your calculator if you're not sure. Less than or equal to 4x, less than or equal to 4. Okay, now what? Last step. Dan. Good. Divide the middle, left, and right by 4. So 6 divided by 4 can be reduced. Matt M, it reduces to 1.5, which is 3 over 2. Less than or equal to x, less than or equal to, Tia? Good. Yes, I'm sorry. Thank you. Mr. Warnock's class, sorry. Why did I do that? Sorry. Thank you. I told you guys, watch out. 4 plus 8 is 12. I should tell myself to use the calculator. That's 12. So 12 divided by 4, Tia, is 3. Okay, sorry. So 3. Make sure you guys have 12 on your paper, not 1. It's 8th period. I need a little break, right? Okay, at this point, make sure when you have your and compound inequality, the smaller numbers to the left, bigger numbers to the right. Let's make our number line. 3 over 2, let's put to the left. Let's put 3 to the right. If you want to put a third number in there, that's fine. If not, you don't have to. Chris, what kind of circle goes above 3 over 2? Open or filled in? Good. Filled in. Alyssa, what kind of circle goes above 3? Good. Mason, does the line, or do the lines go this way or this way? Good. They connect in the middle. Okay, it's an and compound inequality. Remember, x is between those two numbers. Questions on how to solve that one? Minus my math error. Okay. Let's do one more together. Number 6, then I'm going to have you guys practice some. Okay, number 6 is 4x squared minus 17x equals 0. Okay, Frankie, how many solutions is that going to have? Good, it's going to have 2 solutions. So you look on your yellow paper where it says 2 solutions. It's already set equal to 0. So we go right to finding the GCF. What's the greatest common factor here? Raise your hand when you know. Evan, greatest common factor. Good, 1x. There's not any other numbers that evenly go into both. So your greatest common factor is 1x. When you divide both terms by 1x, what are we left with inside parentheses? Tia. Good, 4x minus 17. Okay, Robert, what's the next thing we have to do to solve? Split them into 2 different problems. So 1x equals 0 and 4x minus 17 equals 0. Okay, go ahead and solve both of those, and then I'll ask you guys what you get for an answer in about a minute. So go ahead and finish solving both of those. Okay, test. This answer is going to be what? Good, x equals 0. this answer is going to be what, Dylan? Good. 17 over 4. It cannot be simplified any further. That's as far as it goes. Keep it as a simplified fraction, not as a decimal. Okay, what did you guys think about those 6? Not too bad? Okay. Flip your notebook to a blank sheet of paper, or if you guys have a homework section in your binder, find your paper wherever you guys do your homework. If you use loose leaf, here are 10 problems that are your assignment, but I want you to start now. If you want to write them down as you're going, that's fine. I'll let you guys know when there's like a minute or 2 left to finish writing them. If you want to write them all now, please make sure you're leaving enough room between them. Okay? They're all mixed up, just like the 6 problems that we did. The little red star that I have up there indicates that that problem has a fraction answer, okay, for one or both of them, depending on what problem it is. So 10 problems, you're going to work on those now. I will walk around if you guys have questions or need help. Whatever you don't finish is homework. Good job today.